Welcome to this magical place where all the bedtime stories come true. It was Saturday morning, and 8-year-old Lina was visiting her grandma. She had her glasses perched on her nose and a big red cardigan wrapped around her shoulders. Underneath, she wore a beautiful flowing blue dress. Lina loved coming to her grandma's house because it was filled with all sorts of curiosities. There were trinkets and treasures everywhere, each with its own story to tell. Today, while playing hide-and-seek with her little brother Leo, Lina discovered something new. She found an old key lying behind a bookshelf. It was made of copper and was covered in little bumps and scratches, and it looked like it hadn't been used in many, many years. When she turned it over in her hands, she saw that there was some sort of pattern etched into it, and then suddenly it clicked. "Ooh, I bet this key opens one of those big cupboards," she whispered excitedly. She ran over to the tall wooden cupboard and tried the key in the lock, but it didn't fit. Then she tried another and another, until finally she realized it didn't open any of them. Just then, Grandma came walking down the hallway. "What are you doing, my love?" I asked gently. "I found this key, but it doesn't seem to open anything," replied Lina, a little disappointed. Her grandma came over, leaned in close, and whispered something that made Lina's eyes widen. "That key doesn't open any door. It opens a memory." Before Lina could ask what she meant, her grandma had already disappeared around the corner. Just then, Lina heard a loud rumble. She and Leo looked at each other, then back at the key. Suddenly, they both felt a bit scared. Was the key cursed? Would it bring them bad luck? As if reading their minds, a kind voice echoed through the room. "Don't be afraid, children. This key only opens good memories." A bright light started to appear around them, and before they knew it, everything went black. When Lina opened her eyes, she was in a dark place, yet it wasn't scary at all. It was magical. Above her, countless stars twinkled in the velvety night sky. All around her, fluffy white clouds floated past, some shaped like dragons, others like friendly monsters. "Where are we?" whispered Leo, his eyes full of wonder. Then he noticed something incredible. Right before them, floating above the clouds, was a grand library. It seemed to be made of pure moonlight and was filled with books that glowed with all the colors of the rainbow. "Wow," breathed Lina. Suddenly she remembered the key and knew exactly what to do. She walked over to the library and inserted the key into a keyhole that shimmered on the side. As she turned it, a soft humming sound filled the air and the door slowly opened. Peeking inside, Lina saw rows upon rows of books floating in midair. They spun slowly and gracefully like dancers in the moonlight. And on every page, words twirled and sparkled, forming stories that had yet to be written. Taking a deep breath, Lina stepped through the doorway and closed it behind her. She felt a magical tingling sensation all over, as if the very air was alive with wonder. Then she noticed something strange. The books weren't just floating, they were also disappearing. One by one, their pages fluttered away like fireflies until they vanished into thin air. And when a book became too tattered to read, it simply dissolved into stardust, leaving behind only a faint echo of the forgotten tale. Realizing that these books held precious memories that were fading away, Lina knew she had to help. She walked deeper into the library, determined to find someone who could fix them. As she did, she noticed that the books were starting to glow again, their pages turning faster and faster. And then she saw it, a single book that shone brighter than the rest. Its cover was made of pure starlight, and its pages swirled with silver ink. Curious, Lina reached out to touch it. But before her fingertips could meet the pages, the book flew open, revealing the most beautiful sight. She saw herself sitting in a cozy bed, drawing pictures of stars in the night sky. With each stroke of her crayon, the stars twinkled and danced above her, filling her room with magic. Overjoyed, Lina realized that this must be her own forgotten dream. As she watched, entranced, the pages rustled and whispered, inviting her to reach in and touch them. Hesitantly at first, Lina dipped her fingers into the swirling ink. And the moment their tips met the page, something incredible happened. The star she was drawing in the book suddenly appeared in the sky above her head. At first, it was just a tiny point of light. But as Lina continued to paint, the star grew brighter and brighter until it filled the darkness with shimmering silver. Laughing in delight, she painted more and more stars until they covered the entire ceiling. Blinking in amazement, Lina looked back at the book. In the pages, the drawing was coming to life, mirroring her movements exactly. It was as if the book itself were reaching out to her, sharing her dreams and allowing her to make them real. But then, she noticed something peculiar. The other books were also glowing now, their pages fluttering rapidly as if they couldn't wait to be seen. Lina understood that each book contained a forgotten dream, waiting for someone to remember it. And so she began to explore, opening each book and reliving the magical moments trapped within. There were tales of talking animals and enchanted forests, of faraway lands and mythical creatures. With every story, Lina's heart soared, feeling as though she were experiencing all the forgotten dreams alongside the people who had once dreamed them. At that moment, she knew that preserving these memories was not just about keeping the books from fading away, but also about cherishing the dreams that made each person who visited the library truly special. Finally, when she had shared in all the dreams she could bear witness to, Lina felt a sense of peace and fulfillment wash over her. She carefully closed the books, knowing that their stories would continue to live on in the hearts and minds of those who had dreamed them. With a heavy heart, she left the library, knowing that it was time to wake up and return to her own reality. But as she turned to go, she caught sight of a glimmering pool of water nearby. And as she approached, she saw her own reflection staring back. It was different somehow, filled with a newfound wonder and joy that she had never seen there before. And then Lina noticed something even more extraordinary. All around the pool, sparkling gold dust swirled and danced. It looked so beautiful. She reached out to touch it, and the moment her fingers met the shimmering particles, they seemed to come alive. The dust twirled around her hand, then floated up to her face, tickling her cheeks and leaving tiny golden sparkles in its wake. Overjoyed, Lina laughed and twirled, watching as the sparkles danced around her, making her feel like she was made of pure stardust. Suddenly, she realized that this wasn't just any ordinary dust. It was the essence of the forgotten dreams, the very magic that had brought her to this wondrous place. And as she continued to laugh and twirl, the sparkles drifted from her fingertips and rained down onto her pillow, covering it in a soft, shimmering layer of gold. Then, as quickly as it began, it was over. The pool vanished, the dust disappeared, and Lina found herself waking up in her own bed. At first, she thought it had all been a dream. But then she turned to her pillow and saw that it was still covered in a thin layer of sparkling gold. Each tiny particle seemed to catch the morning light, reminding her of the magical adventure she had experienced. With a smile on her face, Lina got out of bed and went to the window. Looking up at the sky, she noticed that it was filled with stars, even though it was the middle of the day. She knew that they weren't just stars, but the very essence of the forgotten dreams she had helped bring back to life. And as she continued to stare, she saw something even more extraordinary. A tiny shooting star streaked across the sky, leaving a trail of silver in its wake. And as it disappeared, she knew that somewhere out there a new dream was being born. The end. Thank you for watching, and welcome to our channel, where all the bedtime stories come true. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified whenever we upload a new story. Now close your eyes, make a wish upon a star, and sweet dreams.